Good evening. Tonight, the Billie Holiday Theatre presents 50 and 50 Shattering the Glass Ceiling in partnership with the Frank Silvera Writers Workshop. I hope that you and your loved ones are safe and well. My name is Zanzile Atwaro Daniels, and for the last 4 years, I've watched 50 and 50 from the wings. This monologue showcase was created by my mother, Dr. Indira Atwaro, who shared Audra Lord's words with me. When we speak, we are afraid our words will not be heard or welcomed. But when we are silent, we are still afraid, so it is better to speak. Tonight is not only about shattering glass ceilings, but shattering silences. We hope you will leave your thoughts and comments as we experience these stories. This year, I had the honor of being a part of the producing team. I want to thank the hundreds of Black women writers from across the world who shared their stories with us over the last 5 years, and to the 50 writers whose stories we are reading tonight. I also want to thank the 50 Black women actors who are reading these profound stories. Tonight is not just about entertaining you. It is about the power of community, the power of stories, and the power of creating space for often unheard voices. My generation has witnessed so much loss in the past year. Lost proms, graduation, campus life. The loss of over 500,000 Americans due to COVID-19. The loss of the life of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and so many others. But in the midst of all this loss, we have seen the triumph of the human spirit with the protest, accountability of the recent trial of police officer Derek Chauvin, and the beginning of the year with Kamala Harris breaking through a racial and gender glass ceiling, serving as the first woman to hold a national office and the first Black vice president of the United States. She's a beacon of hope for young women like me across the world. 50 and 50 is a celebration, a reminder, and an affirmation of what it means to be human. Ladies and gentlemen, the Billie Holiday Theatre presents 50 and 50 Shattering the Glass Ceiling.
Them that's got shall get, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible says, and it still is news. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child who's got his own, who's got his own. Money, you got lots of friends hanging around your door, but when you gone and money spent, they don't come around no more. Rich relations give crust of bread and such. You can have your way, but don't take too much. Mama may have, Papa may have, God bless the child who's got his own, who's got his own.
Child, if you don't get up from there, get on up. All balled up on the floor, drowning in tears. Oh, baby, now I'm not laughing at you. I promise. It's not you. I'm laughing at me that used to be just like you. Used to crumble, shatter every time something dropped down before me and blocked my way. A door would slam in my face and I couldn't see no way out. All I knew how to do was cry and pray. I'd sit on these ashy black knees till they stung. I sat begging God to fix it. Oh, fix it, God. Till one day, my knees and heart couldn't take it no more. Nothing was changing, I said to myself. There's got to be a way. It took some time, but I figured it out. Found the answer. You want to know what it is? Come closer. I realize that I am God. Now, hold it now. Don't give me them eyes. This ain't no blasphemy or some self-aggrandizement. I'm God. Listen, so many of us been taught to just lay everything before God. Pray on it. Sit. And wait.
My mother tells me there were only two ways out of Arnoldville, Louisiana: marriage or the convent. She went to the convent, but decided it wasn't for her. Too many kids running around who looked like the priest. I ask her how she met Daddy. Magic, she says. I give her a puzzled look. We took my daddy over to his daddy to get healed. He did card tricks for me while we waited. He cast a spell over your heart, I say. Nope, just happened to play his cards right that night. My mother grew up in a shack in Louisiana. No electricity, no doors. In the night it got pitch black and no one dared go in the woods where the Indians were buried. She was the oldest daughter of 14 children. She says she was always a mother. When Elise died and Ma had her breakdown, I had to take care of everyone. Ma would run wild with a gun some days. I couldn't let strangers come in and split us up. For Christmas, I would go to the nuns and give them all of my siblings' measurements. That's how they got clothing for the year. I cooked, I cleaned, and when my mom was giving birth, I had to run to get the midwife. I was practically the mother in the house. I understood what she meant when I saw her hold my uncle on the day of his wife's funeral. He was my older brother, she said, but I raised him since he was a boy. When she was old enough to leave the cotton fields, she went into the city for work. Don't forget that y'all are the first ones to have rights. I was lucky I could pass for white. It's the only way I could get a job. I asked if she was ever afraid that someone would find out. Hell no, she says. One time my boss was making fun of some black people, calling them niggers. He said, "Hey, Martha, look at those niggers." And I threw my apron in his face and said, "I'm a nigger too, you big dumbass." I laugh until I cry. When I'm done crying, I am frightened by what could have happened to her. Those were the days when a black woman couldn't say anything if she were ever touched by a white man. Well, this makes me want to ask her one more question. I ask her if she remembers the photo I sent her when I had just moved to New York, a photo taken in a friend's dorm, a close-up on my eyes all big with fear and uncertainty, and a caption I added that said, "Me, young and scared of New York." Yeah, I remember that, she says. I ask if she remembers what she wrote back. Yep, she says. I wrote, "You are my daughter, not scared of New York. New York is scared of you."
Dear Mooks, washing off makeup before going to bed is a healthy habit. We're removing disconnected sentences that are thrown at us and flow from us daily. Patting instead of rubbing my face dry helped me to forgive myself and be merciful to others. Floss. Gum disease, heart disease, miscarriages are connected. A peaceful heart releases edifying words and produces fruit. Smiles are powerful. It disarms a foe, welcomes a friend, and cheers you up. Moisturize, please. Chapped lips are gross. Ugh. Cracked heels and sandals is a freaking federal offense. Pocketbooks need hand lotion and stability. Buying a weave for $200 from racist people and no life insurance? Then need a GoFundMe to bury you? Foolish. Walk in God's wisdom. Purchasing property and education conquers generational poverty. People may love us but not celebrate us. So what? Encourage yourself. Encourage a younger woman. Mooks, don't look for love. Seek God and he'll hook a sister up. He'll let the right man find you. Now, it ain't wrong to put yourself in the way to be found. I moved out of my comfort zone, but I should have been much more circumspect. If he doesn't share your faith or goals when you meet him, it won't change when you treat him. Don't ever settle. God says you're priceless. Social media followers don't validate us. It's not the platform for your crotch either. Act vulgar or naked on the internet, expect an ass whooping. If I'm dead, Miss Darlene and Auntie Wanda will whip you for me and I will still haunt you. Prayer warriors are my confidants. SOS signals work. Use them. Remember, I'll adore you forever. God knew you'd make me better. Now, do that for the world. Leave it better than you found it. Who loves you? Your mama.
Little girls should be seen and not heard. Modulate your voice. Sit still. Don't run around or jump rope or sweat your hair back. Close your legs, knees together. Remember, when you leave this house, you are representing me. Remember, act like a lady. Be a lady. Remember, nobody gives a shit about you outside this house. You do as I say, not as I do, because I said so. Citizenship. That grade in behavior is most important to me. Keep your mouth shut and obey. Stop crying. I will give you something to cry for. You look ugly when you cry. You don't have time to cry. Do what you have to do. Cry later. Look good. Even though you don't feel good, look good. The rules. Things not to do. What my mother said to me. So I followed the rules and tried not to be seen when I needed to shine. Not to use my voice when I needed to be heard. Not to move when I needed to run, dance, fly. Not to trust when I needed assurance. Not to cry when I needed joy. I was exhausted. So my prayer for you, my hope for you, my dream for you is to be. Just be. Be who you are, no matter what.
OMG, girls, you're turning 13 this year. Ooh, it's going to be such an exciting time of joy and discovery. You will be teenagers. Times are different from when I was your age. I had no cyberbullying or reality television shows that promoted disruption of sisterhood. Face it, girls, you live in a much more mature world. Since 13 is coming on and strong, I'll share with you 13 lessons I've learned in this new age. 1, don't do anything that will come back to haunt you later. That includes shower pics. 2, do not share your personal info with strangers online or in person. People don't need to know your business, and y'all don't need to be violated by no lying ass mofo. 3, record everything. Do not be somebody's scapegoat. 4, hide your phone and keep it on silent. That way, if you're ever caught in the middle of a school shooting, you can call 911, then text your parents. 5, don't be shooters in a mass shooting. 6, stand your ground, fight for your rights, always keep pushing for equality. 7, no matter who you choose in life, make sure they value you just as much as you value them. 8, Keep your family close. You will always need them. 9, be sisters to each other. There will be situations when you are all you've got. 10, I better not ever catch either of you on World Star.
You must smell good. A lady must always be clean. Don't be lazy. You must be able to do everything. Go out, buy the food, cook it up, and fix his plate to be the perfect helpmate. Set expectations, but don't enforce them. No one likes a nag. Do these things to be the best he's ever had. Work hard, 2, 3 jobs if you must. And even when you get home late, don't forget to fix his plate. Wash and iron his clothes. Lay aside your personal goals. Be affected by his cynicism. Be discouraged by his criticism, but always fix his plate. The rules of submission generations before have mastered them and more. What he wants, we provide. Even if we don't agree, he must be happy, even if our happiness is not a priority. We even force our bodies to spasm in the complete absence of orgasms. We've watched and learned to do what they did. And with all due respect, this is bullshit. Baby girl, it's time to change this narrative. Let's start again. Submission is good, but only when it's properly scored. Wives, submit to husbands as they submit to the Lord. You're not his wife. You may not even be his only woman. So you're doing all this for nothing. But even if you were married, you would still be in a lurch, because that man don't love you as Christ loved the church. No disrespect to our forebears, but we need some new instruction, because this hurt we're causing ourselves will keep our lives in dysfunction. Even if singleness is going to be our forever fate, these men going to do better or they going to fix their own damn plate.
I ain't gonna beat you till I get tired. 'Cause you see, I ain't gonna get tired. I won't get tired of disciplining you, instructing you, guiding you, reasoning with you, or leading by example, showing you the way you ought to go. 'Cause that's my job as your parent, to help you become the best person that you can be. I want to see you do well in life. I want you to succeed, so I am going to give you my best. I will run up to your school. I'll speak with your teachers. I will make sure you do your homework. I want to meet your friends, and I want to know what's going on with you. You will be punished when you break my house rules. You will do your chores, and you will be a part of this family, because I don't care what's going on outside. I'll try to help you cope, but you won't do whatever, whenever, because I am going to beat you till you get tired. Tired of cutting up.
You think it's easy loving you? They tell you, everybody, they tell you ain't nothing you gonna love more in this world than your child. But they don't tell you how hard it is, how impossible some days when that child is in your face. So familiar and so foreign, so much of you and so much of something you can't even comprehend. You realize how exhausted I am, being the mother of a revolutionary? How exhausting it is to be everything you need me to be, and everything I need me to be, and everything my mama expected me to be, and the world expects, and the ancestors expect, and God expects. And you come in here knowing a better world and expecting me to just know it with you. Judging me for not knowing it fast enough, ain't give me a lick of time to learn. I don't know how to be new yet, how to change, and you don't care. Glaring at me all mean and sass and frustration, and if that ain't the me in you, then I don't know what is. I remember looking at my mama and being so mad that she didn't know the world was changing. But you can know the future is better than the present and still be afraid of it. And I'm not saying you need to be less or slower or nothing. I'm just saying that I poured every good thing I have into you, my brave new world, and I'm trying to catch up, because hard as it is loving you, it's impossible not to. I love you so much, infinitely, and I'm learning to like you even when it's hard. All I'm asking is that you try to do the same.
To all Black single mothers, please remember to educate those who are ignorant enough to describe your home by who is not there. Your home is not fatherless. It is motherful. And to all new Black single mothers, relish in the joy of loving and holding, raising your beautiful, bubbly, bouncing brown baby, and ignore the hell out of those who'd rather gaze at your ring-free fourth finger left hand. Ignore them. You have a beautiful, brown, bubbly, bouncing baby.
My dear baby girl, let me share what I know, what I learned on my journey as I continue to grow. It won't be as easy as it seems to look. Our lives usually don't go by the book. The one we'll write each day we live. What I hope you'll give is yourself a chance to live out your dreams. Working hard with a passion formed from the depths of your soul will always help you to reach your goals. I have been fortunate to experience many bonded relationships with women who enlightened, thrilled, and taught me many skills. My mother, grandmother, aunties, godmothers, sisters, cousins, friends, and neighbors too, all helped me become a better, stronger woman prepared to raise you. A strong, independent spirit that would not be controlled, that Ms. Pearl sprinkled her wisdom all over our souls. My mother told me, head up, shoulders back, you slumping at 6'1" won't make you shorter, and that's a natural fact. Or the time I experienced the reality of male betrayal and declared at 15, then I will become a lesbian. And in her most sincere, calm voice, your grandmother replied, lesbians have heartbreak too, so baby, that won't protect you. Passing on the recipes that can make life a joy, baking, cooking, creating, sharing, surviving, evolving, and spiritual growth are all important traits that will help you most. What I feel after 6 decades on the planet is give self credit for all you do. Acknowledging your gifts is freeing and celebrating the simple pleasures of life is best. For the world is a lot older than we will ever get. So I say to you, baby girl, make each day the brightest one yet. Love, Mommy.
Although I want you, I struggle. At 45, I'm even older than when Grandma birthed me. Not the plan. I consider fostering or adopting you, whose birth mother could not deal, crippled by harsh realities. I can relate. I stand at this crossroads and Grandma's gone. I'm a motherless child, desperate to share her lessons, pass that baton. Future daughter, I want you to know Dorothy, who fought for everybody but herself, who changed the world accidentally and opened her home to all. Some of us don't make the history books, though we're ahead of our time. There are strong women who love despite having a husband who don't value them. I would teach you differently. I'd model our perseverance and victories, dare you to go against the grain, show you theater and museums, get you your library card at age 3, empower you to be the change too. I want to be your mommy, and yet after a decade plus of caring, watching her leave piece by piece, the words escaping her sentences, the wheelchair replacing her legs, the words taken forever. But that smile, you must know that joy. The kind that bought a brand new bright yellow VW Bug at age 69, who fought for years to write that life story that damned Alzheimer's wouldn't let her complete. You need to know that resilience, that life, yet I'm conflicted. A selfish part of me relishes my brand new freedom, caring only for myself. I navigate this grief, not knowing when I'm supposed to inherit the title mommy, knowing it's in my heart, it's just not now. Daughter of tomorrow, I think of you often, regretting you will not know Grandma like I did, yet having faith someday you will through me.
Let me holler at you a minute, young queen. You in this joint wildin' like you ain't got no goddamn sense.
I'm an OG in this piece. I'm never getting out of here, but you are real soon. And I look at you like the daughter I never had. I see so much of myself in you, and I just want to drop some jewels, and I hope you hear me. Girl, first, you are beautiful, and I see it. I know why you don't. You ever hear the expression, God created us in his, her image and likeness? Well, look in the mirror. Really look. You don't need no man or no one to validate that. You got passion, queen. Use it. I know you had goals and dreams before you came up in here. I see how well you do your hair up in here. And everybody want your fingers in their hair. Girl, that's a skill and a gift you have you can make money from. You can own your own business doing hair. Trust. Most everybody want their hair to be right and tight. The money you make, invest it. Keep investing in beautiful you. Buy something like an apartment. Yes, you can own it. Don't be afraid to dream out loud, to dream big. Dreams do come true. Be charming. You don't have to fight every fight. Pick your battles and think about the consequences, good and bad. Yes, think. You got a beautiful brain. And be kind. It's not being soft. It's being human. Baby girl, know that you are worthy of all the good in this life. And know you are worthy of love.
To my daughter who never was, you were born in blood. Drops dripped down my leg. When they could not find your heartbeat, mine doubled. And I wonder, could you taste my doubts in the umbilical cord? Was that why you ran for your life? My daughter, there were so many words left unsaid. Words like, I'm sorry, and forgive me. Words like, be brave enough to love fiercely, knowing that your heart may break, because in that trust is where God lives. No, you don't have to open your heart to open your legs. You don't have to open your legs to open your heart. But be sure the one you open yourself to is worthy of your light, because in that light is where God dwells. Remember, only to say sorry if you've hurt someone, and on the nights when your lover has left you, and your girlfriend has betrayed you, and your hair is tangled, and you have not a single pair of clean underwear, remember, you are magic. Your curls touch the feet of your ancestors. Your toes rub the belly of Mother Earth. Speak your mind. Speak your heart. Passive aggressiveness need not be in your vocabulary. And if aggressive you must be, then passive be damned. And if you ever need help with an ass kicking, I got you. When the world whispers insidious things into your ears, trust. You have never been broken, my dear. You have been held together by the smell of gumbo, by your sister's hands, by the crown of braids on your head. You are imperfect, and imperfection looks damn good on you. The blood you were born in beats in my heart, and I keep you there, my daughter. No, I will always love you.
Hey, black boy, I want to tell you a story. A story about hope, about promise, about joy. I want to tell you a story about love. That real love, that unconditional love, that face your fears, remove them brassieres, cover your ears if you ain't got the years, but for real. I want to talk to you about love. 'Cause see, love ain't free, but it should make you feel free. And it don't work the way they tell you that it's got to be. And when you give in love, honey, it should set her free. Never try to turn her into who you think she should be or him. See, there they go again, trying to tell you how and who and what can make a man. They tell you how to navigate encounters with police, but ain't nobody taught you how to fold a fitted sheet. Baby, love. You are deserving of it. No suit, degree, or car should make you more worthy of it. Now, these are things worth getting if you want them for yourself, and partnership requires that you share them with someone else. But please always move with love in your intentions, and never listen to knuckleheads made of defenses who figure everything out with a tussle or a tongue lashing, but can't give out the smallest little hug or understanding. Don't let them get you, boo. Don't let them steal you, too. Don't let them take that Afro soul you got away from you. Don't let them tell you that you need a PWI. Don't let them tell that lie that you ain't supposed to cry. We telling 5-year-old boys to man up. Why? That baby need to cry. You better let that baby cry. Hold that baby tight and let them know they can be mild. 'Cause a little black boy ain't no man. That's a child. A little black boy ain't no man. That's a child. Who does it really serve to have a callous, cold collective of black men and boys with a negative perception of the very women and sisters that hold all of this together? Who stand for our people through every stormy kind of weather? I really think we need to learn to treat each other better. And think about how more than one oppression can exist, and work to be the cause of the mending and not the rift. Work to be the cause of family and the gift. Work to be the cause of the unit and seek the truth. Work to be intentional. No more being aloof. No more standing around when our brothers talk down a little sis in the street. No, we off that. No more expectations based on her clothes and her makeup and how good she can take it. No, we off that. No more one-sided love and reward for ride or dies, because why would I have to die for the love of my life? Just remember, black boy, you are hope, you are promise, you are joy, real and true. Never let them take away the soft bits inside, because when I'm talking about love, baby, I am talking about you.
Him. The little bubbly, kinky, coiled brown sugar cube that will be my baby boy. I never wanted a child really, but I decided if I had one, mine was going to be a S-U-N. Growing up, many moments unfortunately just slipped through the cracks. We were financially well off, but quite love poor. I was definitely not my parents' son. I was more like the sunlight peeking through the clouds on a hazy day, not really regarded, acknowledged, or felt. But you, my little one, you will be my son. My moon, my shining star. You will be the one thing I do that matters more than all the things I've ever done. Made by and of love and given back 100-fold. You will be the love I give to the world and hope that you won't need fixing later because I broke you. You will be smart, strong, giving, and kind. You will respect all humans but revere women. You will own your West Indian heritage but be a Black American to admire. I feared being a mom because all my life due to my childhood. But I know now I am finally resolute that I will be chasing a toddler my midlife, and I am so okay with that. Until we meet, my love, I will keep growing and improving to live up to whom I know you would need me to be. Thank you for changing me with just the notion of your existence.
The night was meant for rest and sleep, for leaves that softly sigh. It was not meant for silent tears. So why then do I cry?
Well, damn. There was once a brown man, and all he ever wanted was to love a brown woman. One day when he was minding his brown business, he met an attractive brown woman, and instantly he knew he loved her, so he proposed. Soon thereafter, he wed her. Life was good in brown, except with her white job came many stresses. If her brown shoulders weren't aching, her brown feet were sore. One day she came home complaining about both. Without question, he sold his brown company and committed himself to making sure that every day when his brown wife came home, she would have a perfectly tempered bath waiting, her favorite podcast cued, and a cool glass of fresh spring water from a real spring on the side of the tub. He did this every day for 37 years. Then, one evening, he decided not to run the bathwater or cue Larry Wilmer on the air for her, nor did he pour her a glass of fresh spring water. Instead, he rested on the couch, which is where she found him when she arrived home from work. A bit shocked, she asked him, why had he not done anything like run her bath, cue up her podcast, or pour her some spring water? He simply looked up at her and replied, he didn't feel like it. The next day, he was served with divorce papers citing unannounced change of his brown mind.
Dear daughter, there are 2 minimum requirements which must be met before you are ready to date. 1, you must be comfortable with the word no. 2, you must be confident enough to be single if you need to be. Ask yourself, are you comfortable saying no without explanation and without regret? Are you comfortable denying requests that do not honor you? Are you confident saying no when your arm is being twisted to say yes? Can you see a person break down and keep your composure if needed to still say no? If your answer is no, then you are not ready. Ask yourself, are you comfortable with single womanhood? Can you walk away from the status of a relationship or marriage which has run its natural course? If your relationship no longer holds the positive value that it once did, can you separate yourself from it? If the love in your relationship changes, can you address it honestly and require it back? Can you recognize when your work to maintain a relationship is unrequited? Can you understand that unrequited love is a form of self-punishment? Do you understand that it is not a failure, but a win to step away from any situation which no longer honors you nor helps you grow as a woman? In order to be ready for a union with the right person, you have to be able to step away from a relationship with the wrong person. You have to be confident in your right to say no to all that dishonors you. That may mean being single. When you understand that being with the wrong person is worse than being single, you are then ready to date.
I grew up in the 1950s in a small town in North Carolina where we, my parents, Lillian and Carly Ellis, and my two siblings lived harmoniously in a big house with my maternal grandmother, my aunts, and cousins, surrounded by neighbors in a tight-knit community. Although my mother had sisters and sister-in-laws, she was also close to women friends who she referred to as her friend girls. Like her, these were young married women with children: Miss Eva May, Miss Beulah, Miss Clara. My mother's friend girls modeled what we today call sister friends. Their relationships including caring for and about each other and each other's children. Not as in childcare or babysitting, but as in the time Miss Eva May bought matching white dresses for me and my sister. A photo from that warm Saturday afternoon shows two pretty black girls, aged 6 and 7, freshly bathed, greased, hair combed, smiling in our pristine white outfits. Not seen were my mother and her friend Miss Eva nearby, smiling. Now, why would Miss Eva May buy us outfits? Our families were far from wealthy. It was a demonstration of sisterhood. It showed me how women could be friends, caring about each other and especially about each other's children. My mother and her friend girls demonstrated authenticity in their relationships, joy. I never heard my mother speak ill or gossip about her friend girls. They remained friend girls for decades. It was a sisterhood lesson I internalized and tried to demonstrate throughout my adulthood and professional life. In these times of deadly and spirit-crushing misogyny and internalized hatred of Black women, it is an act of love to model genuine, authentic sister friendships, not only for our emotional friendship, but for our children, families, and community.
In a world where apologies are slowly losing their first-class status as the gateway statement to forgiveness, I wonder how future generations will handle the verbal atonement attempts of offenders. As a veteran teacher, I recently found myself worn so thin by student apologists, I began to reply, "Your apology doesn't work here. Change the behavior." Oddly enough, it worked. And it got me to thinking about all of the apologies I've doled out and the ones I've accepted sans behavior adjustment. And I realized as a woman, I've probably accepted too many apologies in situations where I should have punished, and I probably have been saved from punishment by apologizing when maybe I shouldn't have been saved. And I came to the conclusion that if I'm tired of apologist activities, then I'm not alone. An apology used to make things all better. They were the holy barrier from punishment that guaranteed forgiveness. Now we need more than an apology. As a matter of fact, now we just need more. Fuck the apology. It's become chic fodder to go before the public, apologize, ask for forgiveness, and then move on to the next cover-up attempt. The very act has become a part of the American fiber, complete with script. And maybe we worn out our welcome in the expressions of regret department. And if that's the case, then what is the new standard of giving and receiving forgiveness? I'm not sure. But I'm certain that we will never be above making mistakes. And our sense of perfection, compounded with apologist activities, have altered our ability to immediately forgive the bullshit.
Baby, look inside my purse and bring me my makeup bag. Perfect. Take out my rouge, powder, and concealer. Baby, hurry. Mama's running late for work. Thank you, baby. Now, I'm going to show you how to cover and blot, just like my mama showed me. First, Mama would make sure the swelling had gone down. Then Mama would apply her red lipstick along with her CoverGirl foundation. Then she'd dip her finger in the bottle and gingerly, you watching, baby? She'd tap her index finger on her forehead, cheeks, and chin. But I blend, starting with my chin and then my eye. Ooh, this right eye of mine is a little tender. Why are you looking at me like that? Don't judge me. You just a child. I gotta think about the two of us. I gotta clothe you and feed you. I need help. It don't make me weak. Don't make me weak. I'm sorry. I love you. We gonna work this out. Help Mama put the foundation on. You can even blend it for me. Baby, you don't have to catch the bus this morning. I'll drive you. Just me and you will be on our way together.
The speaker was about to be introduced at a lecture I was attending with a photographer I had recently met, our first date. A woman eased into her seat and accidentally bumped Gerald's chair. I was stunned when he lit into her with an abrasive, hostile verbal attack. Now, did I mention that he was also a longtime card-carrying member of the Nation of Islam, the US-based Muslim group known for referring to whites as devils? What was that about? I whispered through clenched teeth. She's a white woman. They always think we should move out of the way for them. I was so pissed, I didn't say another word to him, including the ride home. My phone rang early the next morning. My sister, Gerald began. I apologize for waking you, but I need to say this, and I'm praying that you will listen. He was very anxious as he offered a deep, humbled apology. Then silence as he waited for my response. I am my mother's daughter. A lot of my choices were to behave like she had behaved. When a man made some transgression, her game was to stay mad as long as possible, which could be weeks, days, until the man earned his way out of the doghouse. Recently, I had realized that I had been doing the same thing in my relationships. So this was a crossroads moment. I could change now or not. I'm glad you called, I said with warmth. Apology accepted. His relief flowing through the phone flooded my ear. I felt so light, so freed. My response garnered 2 rewards. I gained a friend for life, and the pattern that bound me to my mother's choices was broken. I was now my own.
My story. If you want to know the for real about what went down, you might not like it, but it's the truth. First time Franco got out, I wore a Burberry print cat suit. He walked out of that prison and I jumped in his arms and wrapped my legs around him and we twirled like a carousel. And he peeled that jumpsuit off me and we made love nonstop. And Franco was the only man I knew like that. He's the only man I know like that since I was 14. The second time he did 2 years and I waited for him. He didn't look good. Like his spirits was broken. He told me we would be together forever. 3 weeks later, he got locked up. And this time he took me down with him. See, Franco didn't talk much, but I knew his heart. Now, I ain't asked him about nothing he did while he was locked up. We had an understanding, like ride or die. If he was going down, I was going down. I just didn't think things was going to go down like this. Him get me sick. Franco died locked up. He got into a fight, got stabbed. And that's what I tell people if they ask. His secret was his to tell, so my job was to protect him, his reputation. My body's wearing down. I ain't taking my meds and I ain't going back to the doctor. That's my choice. I made my peace, and I'm waiting to be with Franco again. Forever, like he said. When I see him, I'm gonna be wearing Burberry head to toe. And I'm gonna run, I'm gonna jump into his arms like always, and we're gonna twirl around and around with the angels. Just like I said, ride or die, tried and true, to the grave. I'm his boo. At least that's how I imagine it.
I guess you say a girl knows what's going to happen to her if she goes to a man's hotel room late at night. What if she goes and she changes her mind? Is it too late? Would it be too late if it was your daughter? How about you? Oh, I know you're a man, but what if they were stronger than you? I asked Fred, our road manager, to ask Ray Charles. Yes, that Ray Charles. Hit the road, Jack, Ray Charles. If I could go home for a personal situation. Tex, Mr. Charles wants to see you. Fred said it right there in front of all the other Raylets, and I knew. I knew what they all thought. Oh, she's going now. Mr. Charles gave me that nickname Tex upon our first meeting. I guess because I was recruited from Texas, but he also loved Texas musicians like tenor saxman David Fathead Newman, James Clay, and so many others. When I arrived at Ray's hotel room, there were several other people there. And then they all just left. Like on cue. Brother Ray came out in his bathrobe and he sat down next to me, rubbing his face. Now, Tex, I've been trying to figure out how I could get you home, but I just haven't figured it out yet. That's okay. That's okay, Mr. Charles. I don't have to go. I jumped up and ran out of that hotel room so fast, Ray had no idea what happened. Girl was gone. There wasn't nothing on under that robe Ray was wearing. Not as far as I could see. And I had been warned about his strength and other things. I was fired. And there are many, many other stories, but they're all dead now. And sexual harassment wasn't a word back then. Change has come.
Once we were standing still in time, chasing the fantasies that filled our minds. You knew I loved you, but my spirit was free, laughing at the questions that you once asked of me. Do you know where you're going to? Do you like the things that life is showing you? Where are you going to?
Growing up in the Pacific Northwest, trying to fit in with my blonde-haired, blue-eyed classmates as a biracial girl was like attempting to piece together one big puzzle. Sure, we all had our own insecurities to battle, but while my blonde classmates worried about pimples and braces, I had to worry about all of that and trying to fit into a white beauty standard. Relaxers and hot combs crowded my bathroom. Hollister polos filled my closets, and Hilary Duff posters clung to my bedroom walls, as if that would somehow make me their equal. 10 years later, I find myself embracing celebrating even my blackness, my queerness, my oddities. 10 years later, I find myself confidently marching into a party hosted by a former classmate who, yes, is blonde-haired, blue-eyed, touting my newly embraced identity and New York City skills of being able to carry on a conversation with anybody. But when I attempt to do so with a guest, who, yes, is blonde-haired, blue-eyed, it's clear she doesn't share the same interest in the conversation. That familiar feeling of oddity and otherness seeps into my skin and floods my face. But now, 10 years later, I find myself realizing I don't need to waste energy trying to puzzle piece anything together. Instead, I introduce myself to a Black woman and a trans man who stand neglected in the corner. And we immediately share the same interests in the conversation. In fact, we flee the party to connect with other queer friends of color. We spent the rest of the night dancing, laughing, talking, sharing our joys, our struggles, our triumphs, and our challenges. How easy and freeing it is not to force the wrong puzzle pieces to fit.
In my second grade class picture, I was not smiling. My lips a thick line, my hair on top of my head in one big ponytail puff. I did not look happy to be there. I was not. All the other kids were smiling, those blonde and brown-headed white children. My hair stood up and out. Theirs hung long. I felt myself standing out in that school. I was the only Black child in my class. One of few in my entire school. I was bused from mostly Black South Jamaica Queens to mostly white Woodhaven Queens. It was the first time I truly realized I was Black. I felt it, as close as my skin, as bold and as present as my hair. I didn't know that traveling across color lines would be such a formative part of my educational experience, both in the classroom and in the larger world. In the third grade, we had moved to the suburbs in Hempstead, Long Island. The houses were more spread out than in Queens, and most people had lawns. I enrolled in a struggling school system and lived in a community full of African Americans, West Indians, and Latinos. I noticed the color line every time I crossed over into neighboring Rockville Center and Garden City, rich white communities to the north and south of ours. When I saw signs that read Garden City or Rockville Center, things changed. There were no more corner stores, liquor stores, dilapidated apartment buildings, or laundromats. There were bigger and nicer homes, well-manicured parks, Beaver grocery stores, massive shopping centers, and upscale malls. I learned that white and Black were not just skin colors, but different realities with implications written into the landscape. Years later, I went from Hempstead to Washington, D.C., to the predominantly white Georgetown University. I had one foot in a world that was all Black and another that was predominantly white. I volunteered in the poor Black area of Southeast D.C., tutoring little Black children that looked like me. Their skills behind, parents stretched, their schools' resources insufficient. I returned to learn in a largely upper-class white environment of abundance, taught by white professors from books written by white authors. I learned to go back and forth between these two worlds, not feeling completely at home in either one, but trying to make my way forward. Still Black, of course, but no longer poor. My education had given me access into a new arena, but I have been stuck in between worlds ever since. Now, whether I am in stores, schools, boardrooms, or courtrooms, I am aware of the color line, how it colors my experiences, It divides cities and severs opportunities for Black children. Race still matters. And though this organ is thin, it is weighty to live in Black skin.
Mama, I know you said wait till I'm married, but I lost my virginity to a pap smear. No foreplay or whispers in the ear. No red wine and rose petals, just these stirrups made of metal. I lost my virginity to a diagnostic test and routine words. Get undressed. No sexy lingerie, Mama. Just an itchy gown made of paper mache. No soft, sweet kiss or Godiva chocolate ganache bliss. Positioned on my back, had been saving myself for 17 years. Mama, I lost myself to a speculum, followed by panic-stricken virgin tears. The nurse asked, "Are you okay?" Trying to investigate my perturbation. Just calm down and breathe. Relaxation. While she has her hands inside of me. Vaginal humiliation. Mama, why was she pressing on my abdominal muscle? Wait, can't we talk about this? No hi, my name is? No dinner cruise on Lake Michigan? No lobster and crystal funded by Benjamin? No slow jams? Girl, I love you. Lenny Williams? Just that damn elevator music was playing Don't Worry, Be Happy, Bobby McFerrin. I lost my virginity, no night to remember, no beautiful black king, no wedding ring. Oh Lord, what a day. I lost my virginity to Kaiser Permanente.
Funny, gut-wrenching, with tears falling down my face. So hysterical, I was laughing maniacally with my family. Except Kat. She was actually crying. I noticed, and it made me laugh even more. We three queens told what we remembered, or what we wanted to remember. We were pros at blocking it out. Either laughing to forget, or laughing to drown out the thoughts that still frazzled our minds. We need counseling, we yelped. Another roar of laughter. Kat was staring at us intently as she put her head down in her lap to cry, out of shock, despair, and for us, while we were still laughing, still trying to drown thoughts. The only power we had once we finally told. And then I realized I was crying. The very thing I was trying so hard not to do.
Sometimes you gonna have to tell a motherfucker to kiss your ass. For real. Yeah, they gonna ask all kind of questions that ain't none of their damn business. Like what you got down there, are you a girl or a boy, or what your parents name you? Some fools still use that she-he mess or want to know whether things still work. Shit like that. Some dudes want a baby picture or something to prove. What? I don't know. It's all bullshit. You guard your own body and your own story. This ain't about secrets or shame or anything close to it. You got the right to give what you got to anybody you want to give it to. They don't got the right to ask for shit. You hear me, girl? Oh, and them Christians will pray for you till their knees bleed. I just roll my eyes and grab a little something out the collection plate when they're not looking. Just remember, can't nobody tell you what you are You are a grown-ass woman. And you've known you were female since you were a baby at your mama's tit. Stand in that shit. If you can't afford some fancy surgery right now, that's okay. You just keep it pushing. And keep a blade on you in case one of these motherfuckers out here think they're gonna hurt you. You hurt them first so you can make it back home. Remember, I got you. You always got a place to lay your head. Forget about them ones that disowned you and can't see your beauty. I'm your mama now. And stop worrying. Try on this new lipstick. It's Fenty, so I know it's gonna pop. Yes, girl. Gorgeous.
Forgive me. I thought I gave birth to 2 girls. I realize now that I did not see you. I ignored how you started to dress, how you hid your body as it was changing. I overlooked how you wanted to be seen. I see you now, my son, my handsome boy. I will call you by your new name, Stephen. And I will help you be the man, the black man you've never seen or met, but felt growing inside you since you were a little boy. And I will do my best to show you how to survive as a black man in a world that uses every ounce of its power to put you in the ground daily. But don't be afraid, though. It's a sick and scared people that use their power to crush others instead of build more life. And I suspect, because of the kind of man you are, these streets may even be more dangerous to move through. But don't let that keep you from standing in your truth. Being a black man is more than the clothes you wear or even the body you wake up in. I'm a woman, but I learned long ago that black manhood is about taking the fire that the world sends your way to burn down every barrier in your path. But I suspect you probably know more about manhood than me after the journey you've taken to get here.
I've decided to shave my head bald, so I enter the local barber shop. I wait and listen. I think it's my time next. The barber nods at the young man who came in after me. I say it's my turn. The barber replies, I just thought you were waiting for your boy. I do not have children, but do not tell him so. Instead, I ask for a buzz cut. The men stare at my head, trying not to stare at my head when I'm in the chair. The barber keeps cutting when I think he should be done. Men have a right to sex, hard sex if they want. He keeps talking about positions, and I have been taught not to interrupt. At another time, my mother's young minister laughed when I said the word rape. There is no similar word. I stopped the laughter and told him he was the problem. So he left for the kitchen and instructed my sister to fix him a plate. But this man has his fingers and an instrument against my head. The other men are silent. They know what's going on. Before, one of them asked me where I was from. You're not from here, you wear too many clothes. The barber refers to cutters, women as side pieces, cleaning my head bare. I wonder what kind of woman I am for him to think he can say these things. Every clipped word, a cadence, and I feel he's opening my scalp. He could make me bleed. Better to survive. I give him money and pull the apron off me as he brushes across my neck. They watch me leave with my naked head. This won't end until men realize they are not men. Better to have taken the razor.
Why are you here? No, I won't quiet down. Why are you here? Did you fly all the way here just to say I told you so? Of course you did. You are here because you are embarrassed. My unfortunate truth has apparently put shame on the dear family name. You probably didn't think I heard you early, but I did hear you. I kept my eyes shut so I could hear every single word of what maybe you couldn't say to my face. After the doctors left, all I heard was your insulting breath, exhaling your disappointment. You asked why I continued to pursue this case. Why couldn't I just keep this between the family? And then you started carrying on about how we have to protect our brothers, handle things like this within our own circles. They have a hard enough time being black, Nia. Well, while you are so busy protecting your brothers, who is protecting me and women like me? My brother would have never done this to me. And I expected more from my own mother. Instead, I'm blamed for the esteemed professor's assault on my body. He couldn't get it on his own, so he took it. And I'm threatened to keep quiet, bullied, and beat on campus when I press charges. He violated me, your own daughter. And you want me to uphold some unspoken code of black protection? Because what? Why? You raised us girls to be honest and noble. I'm going to stand up for myself, even if it's by myself. But I'm not doing it quietly, in a back room somewhere. And I'm not settling outside of court. Who knows how many women he's violated and humiliated in this way? Not me. Not today. Nurse.
So let me get this straight. I gotta work 3 times as hard for 3 times as long to get 3 times less money, respect, and dignity? I gotta walk up, boarded up, fucked up stairs while trying not to hit my head on the glass ceiling along the way? Not to mention that if I manage to bypass the sand traps, back traps, and backstabbers galore, or catapult myself through the invisible glass ceiling onto the top floor, then I still gotta worry about getting pushed off the fucking glass cliff you built for me as you man your lifeboats to stay afloat because you deem this as the optimal moment to plaster a cocoa brown face across billboards while your fiscal board bellows that the coffers are bare? Yeah. No. This here shit simply won't do. If you want me to run this here gauntlet, then I'm gonna need you to throw some respect on my name and add some zeros to that check. You heard me? Go on. Go ahead. Fix your face and run me my paper. In fact, why don't you backtrack, rewind, and try that again? While you at it, throw some reparations on top to cover the cost of the emotional distress and systematic pain your cishet neoclassical institution's gonna try to inflict on my soul. Because although I may stand in your hallowed halls, they were not built to accommodate, nurture, or enrich me. And every day I'll be forced onto the battlefield of micro and macro aggressions, trying to misogynoir my soul into submission while folks constantly stay trying it with actions that belie me as I pay the Negro toll. On second thought, I'm like, nah, no, nope, not today. No, sir, no, ma'am. 'Cause none of your mind games, which are meant to tame this here queen, shall work. I'm built of tougher, more resilient metal than that. So I'd advise you to get the hell up on out of my way. Or it's going to be game, set, match. And if you even thinking about coming for me, I will simply fix my crown while you fix your face. Because in case you haven't noticed, me and my girls have already run this race. Day in, day out, year after year, for centuries, boo. I just thought I'd straighten this hair out for you, because I got work to do.
6 words I'll never forget. I'm not selling this to you. As I swept profusely behind the counter, products ranging from hair grease to black soap were found scattered amongst the disorganized shelves. My intention was to grab a brush and shampoo, but one box in particular caught my eye. I was tired. I was fed up feeling uncomfortable in my own skin. Schoolmates teased me. Blatant stares of judgment from complete strangers, even family. Or how about the daily feud of whether or not I was from Brooklyn or Africa? Bleaching cream. The box showed pictures of before and after pictures of a woman significantly lighter after 28 days. Can it be an answer to my prayers? Yet the man behind the counter refuses to sell me my antidote. I'm not selling this to you. Why? I asked. Because you don't need it. Your skin is too beautiful. He said it with a firm voice while putting the cream behind the counter, and eyes stood shocked and honestly embarrassed. I ran out of there, leaving everything behind, and I mean everything. The brush, the shampoo, the cream, and parts of a young misunderstood girl. I overstood beauty lies inside. The exterior was always secondary. I was 15, now 26, emitting more strength and self-love. Issues of colorism continue to pop up, but I will never forget the day I was forced out of myself. Healing takes courage. I was challenged to face myself in the mirror, choosing between societal conditioning and my own happiness. And I chose me. I chose for my children, their children, and the next generation of Black women and men who've ever felt ostracized, drowning in fear, always chasing self-acceptance. My dark skin is not a crime. My dark is beautiful. Dark skin, medium, light, blue, my hue has nothing to do with you.
Whew, there are too many people packed up in here. I can't hardly move, but I really don't mind. Because we're celebrating. My beautiful baby cousin is graduating high school. All the ladies, 3 generations strong, came dressed to the nines, and we are celebrating her womanhood. Cap and gowns everywhere, but you see my dress? It fits me right, and my hair is so bouncy and tall. I look damn good. I bet you I stand out. Last time I was here at my own graduation, I didn't look so good. I didn't feel it either. It took me a long time to find confidence in my voluptuous frame with my oversized breasts, my thick thighs, and these less than perfect teeth. So while some people might be bothered by this crowd, not me. I look good and I'm comfortable in my own skin, even with all these people around. Wait, did somebody just grab my ass? Fuck, someone just pinched my whole ass. They pinched me so hard my ears are ringing and my eyes are watering. I'm in pain and people can see. Who touched me like that? Which one of you ungrateful bastards grabbed my ass? Don't you know you're supposed to ask? You can't just touch a girl like that. Do you know how long it took me to convince myself that I'm comfortable here? And now I'm shaking a little.
Recently, I read about #MeToo and remembered growing up back in my day, if a young girl was sexually harassed, assaulted, abused, and or raped, it was stated it was her fault because of her body language or being scarcely dressed, or maybe she led him on. Young girls and women were at fault of being who they are. However, so many of us have had uncomfortable and sometimes humiliating encounters. And as a mother, grandmother, foster mother, and mentor to the youth, I want to raise awareness, informing our young girls, young ladies, and all women about sexual harassment, sexual aggression, and inappropriate comments. To know you should always trust and believe in yourself and not be afraid. Nor do you have to continue to be in those compromising positions, especially now. In this day and age with Twitter, hashtags, and Instagram, more and more women are beginning to bond together, unite, and form groups to protect themselves against those ruthlessly aggressive individuals. And the hashtag #MeToo connection is a way to link up, know your rights, and speak up for yourself and hashtag #MeToo.
Ever walk down the street trying to stay invisible to the creeps? Yeah, me too. Ever had to dodge family like that favorite uncle, cousin, brother? Yeah, me too. Ever had neighborhood boys pull the bra strap, grab on the booty, or just verbally harass? Yeah, me too. Ever been in a safe space, but got eyes from the creature teacher or sinister minister? Yeah, me too. Ever went to a job interview and was guaranteed the position in exchange for a blowjob? Yeah, me too. Ever went clubbing with friends and a dude asks for a dance and after saying no, he called you a bitch? Yeah, me too. Ever went on a date and he decided to pay expecting that you would be a good lay? Yeah, me too, and I'm sick of it. That expectation of having to defend my identity based on my femininity. Why can't we all treat each other as equals in humanity instead of being trophies or arm candy or trap decorations? Women were not put on this earth strictly for pleasing men. We have our own desires, dreams, and needs. We have our own minds and voices, and we demand to be heard. So, to those creeps on the streets, yeah, you too. To the uncle, cousin, and brother, yeah, you too. To the neighborhood boys with the floating fingers and loose lips, yeah, you too. To the hiring manager that never worked with his hands, yeah, you too. To that cowardly dude that can't take rejection, yeah, you too. And to that guy who thought buying dinner equated to getting laid, yeah, you too.
I was sitting in a sexual assault and bystander intervention seminar for work. The presenter showed us video after video. No matter the situation, the survivor or victim was always a white woman. It's as if they forgot rape and sexual assault happens to other people. And we're all just kind of sitting there, sharing glances, wondering if we were alone in noticing this pattern. Finally, one of my Black coworkers raised her hand and reminded the presenter that it's important to remember that sexual assault doesn't just happen to white women. In fact, Native American women and Black women are actually more likely to be sexually assaulted and experience intimate partner violence. In an ideal world, the presenter would have talked about how our societal perceptions of white women being the only ones who can be sexually assaulted is problematic and dangerous. But we don't live in an ideal world. So, she just grazed over the fact that sexual assault happens to us too. It's as if when you're not a white woman, rape isn't rape. It's life. Where's the sympathy? And hours-long presentations about how our bodies are hunted and victimized. Let's call a spade a spade. We see white women as the only legitimate victims because we've been taught that they are the only ones ever worth saving. We've been taught that all types of white women are women, but only certain types of women of color are allowed to try and claim the same category. Only certain types of women of color are respectable enough to be seen as women, to be seen as people horrible things are done to. It happens to us at an alarming rate, but when you don't have the right look, none of that really matters. Now does it?
On the day after my first big chop, a Black woman I didn't know walked by on the subway platform as I waited for the train. She said, "Your hair is beautiful." I've been wondering how my coworkers react to my new teeny-weeny afro. But when she disappeared from my view, so did my worries. I chose to believe her. And when I say I strutted into my office that day, I did. A Black woman I didn't know whispered to me at a summer camp fair as she saw me frown at the cost. There's a free camp my kids love, but you have to apply for the lottery ASAP. She wrote the link down and handed it to me. I didn't know her, but she called saying my ex dated both of us at the same time, and she released me from my suspicion and unease. I knew something wasn't right, and he was always saying I was wrong, a reminder to trust my intuition. Before we hung up, we told each other stories of his worst lies and laughed and laughed and laughed. Another smiled at me across a crowded room when we were the only ones. A black woman I didn't know warned me there was still one more security clearance in the detention center before they'd let us into the visitors' room. Your first time here? She asked. I told her my brother was just transferred from another facility. Oh, yeah, my son was there. This place is stricter. She described how next they would watch me shake out my bra as I wore it, just so I knew. Once we were in the visitors' room, we waved. Her son squeezed her tight when they hugged. A black woman I didn't know held the door and said, "Go ahead," when I found myself stuck holding the door open for person after person. No one said thank you or attempted to take the door until she did, so I could go about my day. I thanked her, hoping she wouldn't be stuck there too long. Another answered my post about looking for a black woman therapist with the name and number of hers. I'd only known her for an hour when I became dizzy and overheated. I needed to pick up my kids, but I couldn't drive. She took my keys and helped me to the passenger seat of my car. She drove me to get my kids and then home. She parked my car and gave me the keys. "Take care of your mom," she told my children as they helped me up the steps. She walked down the block, around the corner, and I never saw her again. We're out here, a kind of triumph, aren't we?
Before I could articulate my intersections, the world made sure to put me in my lane. Black, female, poor, the holy trifecta. The patriarchal white feminist communion was plentiful. I was to act as a pallbearer, shouldering the weight of the world while racism, sexism, and poverty led the funeral procession. That's why I became a feminist. To be a black feminist, one must accept the devastating paradox that exists. We are to be active and visible for every political movement in this country while simultaneously being neglected, silenced, ignored, and murdered. To be a black feminist, one must accept the devastating paradox that exists. We are to work within an environment that discounts the suffering of black women and celebrates performative allyship as if it is the pinnacle of feminist achievement. Now, historically, sexual assault against black women has gone underreported in this country. I mean, the mere notion that a black woman could be a victim of sexual assault is, it's a modern day phenomenon. Yet still, in 2006, activist Tarana Burke, a black woman, created a space for victims of sexual assault and abuse to reclaim their power. Me too. Only after American actress Alyssa Milano and Hollywood writ large adopted the phrase somewhat 10 years later did it become a rallying cry heard around the world. A movement created by a black woman wasn't given the space to thrive until those in the center turned it into a hashtag. Well, my feminism isn't about pink hats or clever quips on Twitter. My feminism is intersectional and inclusive by default. Because I do not have the luxury of cherry picking my afflictions. To be a black feminist, I must accept the devastating paradox that exists. I fight for all women, but all women will not fight for me.
Black body swinging in the southern breeze. Stream hanging from the poplar tree. Pastoral scene of the gallant South, the bulging eyes and the twisted mouth, Santa Magnolia, sweet and fresh, and the sudden smell of burning flesh. Here's the root for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the trees to drop. Here's a strange and bitter cry.
Wait, what? Why the fuck is Harriet Tubman, my glorious black warrior sister, auntie, mother, queen, standing up here in the middle of Harlem wearing a goddamn pink pussy hat? Harriet's pussy wasn't pink, it was brown. And the word pussy is also offensive. That mother 45 fucker made that shit word normal, but it ain't my normal. Whether it's pink, brown, or rainbow, it's a vagina. No, get your white girls. Get them. Harriet was disabled, enslaved, risked her life so that we don't get got. You take, and you know what? I know you want to be me. I know you spend all kinds of loot trying to get black like me, perm ride your hair like me, fuck the DMV like me. But you know what? You want to be me? You got to be all of me. I got all kinds of me too for your ass. Just off the top of my head. Be the me attacked in an elevator by a group of boys who tried to put their hands and anything else into my precious even before I knew what my precious was. Be the me cornered and forced to squeeze this dirty old dick steps from my mama's front door. Be the me at 8, cornered by a grown-ass man who took out his old ratty old dick like he was supposed to be my joystick. Be the me thinking, his poor wife. You know, not poor 8-year-old me, but his poor wife. While my innocence will be cut up and parceled out to a grown man who stole me. That motherfucker stole me. Don't you steal me too. Harriet is mine. You want to be me? You got to be my trauma too. Not just my victory. And take that goddamn pussy hat off her.
3, 2, 1, go. And so it begins. This battle, this game, this war. They'll call you strong before you know your strength, masking it as a compliment to justify the way they view you, the way they treat you. They'll call you woman before you know your sex. They'll say, those are some grown woman hips right there. They sure as hell said it to me. I was 11. These hips were my hips. My 11-year-old body was nobody's grown woman. You'll hear them say, black women like you are the backbone of this family, of this race, of this country. Don't take on that weight. If you're not ready, if you don't want to, take your time. Keep pulling, black girl. Work those muscles and build that endurance, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually too. Yes, you are inherently strong. The blood of history's most magnificent beings runs through your veins, but before they were queens, before they were revolutionaries, they were girls. The world forgets about black girls. I haven't forgotten about you. I won't let them forget about you. Don't you forget about you. Make mistakes, fall apart, make those mud pies, scrape those legs, run wild, run free, keep pulling, black girl. Dig your feet in the dirt and hold on tight to your girlhood, to your innocence, to your right to be young without objectification. The origin story of your strength won't be overcoming trauma. Just keep pulling, black girl. And don't you worry. I'm right behind you, pulling too. And haven't you heard? Everyone thinks this backbone, this strength, belongs to them.
Looking at myself in the mirror, questioning why I truly belong on this planet, questioning what the reason was for why God put me in this world, a world filled with so much hate and unfairness. As a kid, you're taught to dream big and to follow your dreams, but I'm here to tell you that's all bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. You see, following your dreams as a black girl in today's world is not easy. It's not as simple as just saying, okay, I'm going to go and follow my dreams without having people discriminate against you. Discriminate against you for being a female and for being black? You would think that after hundreds of years, we would be free, be accepted. But the same shit is still going on today. You would think that after women like Oprah Winfrey, Billie Holiday, Zora Neale Hurston, and many other powerful black women who were able to follow their dreams, that there would be a clear pathway for us to follow our dreams like everyone else. Some people try to stop our dreams from ever coming true because they still are caught up with hate, ignorance, and unfairness. But as black girls, we won't let that stop us from fighting. We will not sit still and be quiet. We will keep moving forward until our dreams come true for us and for every generation. For we come from ancestors who fought for believing what was right, which means we are to do the same. Like Zora always said, no, I do not weep at the world, for I am too busy sharpening my oyster knife.
I never liked the word feminist, the actual word. I always thought it sounded like someone with an itchy crotch or someone who supports itchy crotches. Feminist, itchist, anyway. The woman who invited me to W4, Wakanda's Wise Women's Workshop, asked me if I considered myself a woman first or black first. I know, heavy, right? But I don't know, my lower vibrational self immediately got kind of angry. I was feeling like, how dare she? How dare this upper class $12 smoothie drinking privileged white woman assume that I have such luxury to choose my blackness over my sex, or even vice versa? or even that I should have to, is beyond me. And then I got mad because I didn't have an answer. How do you answer? I mean, I love pancakes, I love syrup, but I wouldn't have one without the other. Would never have popcorn without butter or wings without lemon pepper sauce. Never! That's how I feel about being a Black woman. Some things just go together. And for me, in this lifetime, being Black and being a woman go hand in hand. I can't separate the two. I wouldn't want to. But because I couldn't articulate that in that specific moment, I was mad. I was also mad because I thought the W4 was going to be a group of Black women passing along possibly African wisdom about healing and hard truths. Instead, it was a middle-aged white woman in a dashiki dress, mud cloths, and poorly tied head wraps talking about their past lives and karmic implications of Biggie and Tupac's misogynistic lyrics. Gotta love diversity in LA. Long story short, I'm with feminists, but you can't compare burning bras to burying brothers. That's a whole other layer to our struggle.
You don't remember the day I stopped talking. I was standing at the corner of Clinton and Green, holding a sign printed on leftover poster board and screaming at the top of my lungs, "Fight, fight, fight! Housing is a right!" It was as if something creeped up and grabbed a hold of my voice, the way a stroke had crushed the muscles in Nana's neck. Tinnitus rang with the voices of friends who had tried to coax me to brunch, telling me to leave that protesting mess alone. But I couldn't. I remembered helping Nana make soup and asking why there were so many hungry people. And she replied, "I don't know why, baby, but I know we can help." So there I was, trying to help until fear convinced me that nothing I could ever do would change anything. That thought frightened my voice away. Selective mutism, the doctor said. I took to my bed and almost threw the alarm clock at the wall until I heard the radio host say that it was unlikely that police officers who had killed a young Black woman would be charged. I got up. I made breakfast and I got ready to go. "Why are we here?" my 7-year-old princess asked as we walked to join the gathering crowd. I handed her a poster and I watched as 3 white men, their attorneys and families, greeted us with hostile stares, and I felt a song coming on. Voices from the crowd joined me, and my daughter smiled as I sang, remembering that silence is not an option. As my daughter began to shout, "No justice, no peace," I yelled even louder so that she would never forget the power of her voice to create a world where she never has to be afraid.
We all stand on the shoulders of those who came before us, champions who jumped in the trenches to help lift us all higher. Andra Day was born nearly 100 years after Hattie McDaniel, yet Day stands on the shoulders of McDaniel, who shattered the glass ceiling for people of color when she became the first African American to win an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. Andra Day smashed that ceiling, this time for all novice actors, when she received the Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in her acting debut in The United States versus Billie Holiday. And like Hattie McDaniel, Andra Day was a singer and songwriter first. Day's debut album, Cheers to the Fall, and single Rise Up both received Grammy nominations. Their revolutionary sentiments reflect the times we're living in. Hattie McDaniel wrote blues tunes that were apropos to her youth,
But in 1925, Hattie was the first Black woman to broadcast on American radio. She forged the road for all Black women singers who followed, including Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, Lena Horne, Tina Turner, Beyonce, and Audra Day. African Americans were Hattie's strongest critics. They called her an Aunt Tom, but Hattie McDaniel shed light in many dark places. In between movie and singing gigs, she had to work as a maid to make ends meet. So in movies, she highlighted the domestic trade's importance. McDaniel reprised her maid Mammy roles in nearly 300 films, imbuing each character with a sassy, sometimes scathing self-righteousness who was unafraid to step outside her place. And Hattie McDaniels has 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, one for radio and the other for film. Likewise, not all African Americans appreciated Lady Sings the Blues, immortalizing the trials and triumphs of Billie Holiday. They claimed it glamorized a heroin-addicted whore, but Susan Laurie Park's script, The U.S. versus Billie Holiday, strips Holiday's life down to its bare-bones realities. Yet, despite repeated hurts and degradations forced on Billie, sometimes even by Billie herself, Audra Day displayed the strength and resilience that keeps us reveling and relating to Billie's struggles. Both Hattie and Audra had supportive parents that encouraged them in their youth. Hattie loved to sing so much that her mother teased, "I had to bribe Hattie with pocket change to be silent." Audra's parents, who aspired to perform themselves, recruited her to sing so often that Audra said, "I always joke that I don't think my parents thought I was capable of doing anything else." We blast through ceilings for ourselves and others when we inspire children to be bold and to never stop believing. Audra Day may have expressed it best when she received the Powerhouse Award from Billboard Women in Music. When asked, "What makes a powerhouse powerful?" Day answered, "I think you remind them of their purpose. You remind them that they are not here just to exist. You're here to impact people in their lives." Blast off.
Thanks. She's always kind. A lot of her colleagues turn their noses up at me and act like they don't see me. So I got this down to a science. I wash up at Penn every morning, buy a $2 pair of panties, a breakfast, and a newspaper. It's bad enough that I'm homeless. I refuse to be smelly and hungry. I can't stand those shelters, so I sleep on the train and I hang out here. You surprised that a homeless woman has pride? Don't be. I see I can hear a lot on this bench. When the bourgeoisie execs walk by, I play, sleep, and listen. You learn a lot listening. They had a press conference today, and the tall exec with the cleft in his chin is under investigation. 6 women accused him of misusing his power. About time. A few years ago, a beautiful young woman with braids, a pretty smile, was standing right over there by the phone. Kind of looked like me when I was young. But don't laugh, it's true. Anyway, I heard her say she was reading for a role. Then she strutted in that door. Came out a few hours later, and she was a different woman. Looking defeated and terrified. I knew something bad had happened. 15 minutes later, he came out looking accomplished and full of There were others. One night, he walked another young woman to her car and pressed against her. She was trying to get in, and she said, "I have a boyfriend." I started yelling, "Winnie the Pooh is my brother!" They think homeless people crazy anyway. He looked over at me, and she had a chance to get in, locked that door. I wonder how many more of them there are in this world. Young women are suffering because of them. A dog is a dog. They can bite you. And me too.
The moment the Avengers are about to become a true team for the first time, Bruce Banner shows up and starts walking into battle. And Captain America looks at Dr. Banner and says to him, "Now would be a really great time to get angry." And right before Bruce Banner transforms into the Hulk, his response is haunting, yet beautiful. "That's my secret, Captain. I am always angry." Yes, Bruce. Yes, you get it. Because in the end, the Hulk is just a big, green, misunderstood man of color. The other. Someone considered a monster by society's definition. Yet, is he a monster? Isn't he instead Bruce's protector? The one who keeps him alive and saves him from going so far into despair that he can't live? Bruce's story, the Hulk's story, is the story of most self-identified people of color in this country. We are Bruce Banner. We are the Hulk. So stop making us angry. You can't truly be with us in the fight if you refuse to acknowledge the truth of our existence. The truth of our existence.
Never clipped my wings, you let me fly. You taught me how to sing the songs of freedom that the cage birds never learned to sing. You never clipped my wings, the sky was mine. You taught me how to sing the songs of freedom that the cage bird never sings.
In January of 1980, I was overjoyed and honored to be chosen to be the Earth Mother of a 6-pound, 9-ounce baby girl. As an actor and a woman in a non-traditional situation where women had fought hard for the right to choose, I accepted this gift the goddess had facilitated for me. And once I held her in my arms, she won my heart, my attention, and my devotion. We were a team, supported by our families, a handful of wonderful friends, a reluctant father, a devoted mother-in-law, and a unique place to affordably live called the Miracle on 42nd Street. We embarked on an almost 40-year journey of discovery, love, development, education, dance, voice, and piano, with a song in her heart that demanded a forum. Born Alicia Augello Cook, she mastered a sense of commitment and a work ethic I am still in total awe of. She garnered the praise of a wise record producer, and after she graduated as her high school valedictorian at age 16, she traded in her acceptance to Columbia University for a recording contract at Columbia Records, ending up at the top of her game in the New York music scene, eventually garnering 15 Grammy Awards. I was lucky enough to give to the world a voice framed by her small hands that could glean out those 88 keys, songs to inspire, cajole, and share all the feelings every sensitive young girl and boy needs to hear. By giving birth to Alicia Keys, I gave hope and joy and inspiration to all the daughters of the world who have a song in their heart and a message to share.
Ladies, you owe no one grandchildren. Yeah, I said it. When Butterfly McQueen professed knowing nothing about birthing babies, that was true. She was child-free, along with Rosa Parks, Shirley Caesar, and Marian Anderson, naming a few. I, too, am a part of this child-free tribe. Growing up, every adult woman I knew had kids. There were no Oprahs or Ava DuVernays talking openly about being child-free. I had no idea that was an option. But something inside me knew I never wanted children. Not knowing being child-free by choice would upset so many people. Society labels women as selfish if they choose not to procreate. Motherhood has been shoved up my uterus by other women, strangers, and friends, which saddens me. Most are appalled by my decision. I have been asked, who will take care of you? What if your mom didn't have you? What if your husband wants kids? They've decided that I will change my mind. I will regret it later, and I'd make a good mother, knowing nothing about me. My favorite is, you must hate children. These comments are antiquated, offensive, and judgmental. I don't inform pregnant women they are overpopulating the earth and hand them condoms. 47 years later, I am still child-free.
Hey, sis. I'm glad you're here. You see that? That's that glass ceiling I was telling you about. That thing that haunts you in your sleep. That thing causes you to second guess the very breath that escapes your lungs. I've seen it up close and personal a few times and came close to breaking it, but was met with guns drawn on me as if I stormed the Capitol. Oh, wait, my mistake. With guns drawn on me as if I was, well, me. No, don't worry about it, sis. We can break it together. You see, that glass ceiling can't be genuinely broken by just one person. Although it may seem that way, it just can't happen. We must do it together. The fact that we've made it this far as an individual is evidence that within us lies the strength, the power, the goods to tear that motherfucker down. So I had to wait for you. Why? Because you possess the missing link to my puzzle. It's nothing tangible. It's in your DNA. It's in my DNA. And once we tap into it, it signals our ancestors. And once they get that signal, they have the permission needed to activate what's inside us to finish what they started. Just know that I'm not a threat to you, sis. I never have been and I never will be. Once we understand that, only then will we indeed be able to demolish that glass ceiling. You can't look at me through the lens of America because that lens is tainted. That lens will have you thinking the very hair that grows out of your head is unprofessional. Seriously? What type of shit is that, right? So you see, you have to look at me through the lens of the likes of Harriet, Coretta, Michelle. Lenses like those allow you to see your true God-given beauty, your God-ordained strength. It will enable you to see me as your supporter, not your competitor. It allows me to see your pain like my pain. And just like I would do whatever I could to relieve my own pain, it's with the same vigor that I need to work to help you rid you of yours. Those lenses will allow us to see that although we may have similar talents, God has given each of us our own assignments to complete while we're here on this earth. So you see, there's no logical way that I can take what's yours. That's why it's all right for us to work together. That's why there truly is room at the table for all of us. Take my hand, sis. Close your eyes. Listen. Feel. Those distant drum-like sounds are our ancestors marching toward us. Get ready to be a part of America's worst nightmare. Black women united. Boom. Glass ceiling demolished.
Child,
I don't have time for this morning. I ain't gonna let these white folks get my dander up today. I am sorry. Shatter the glass ceiling? That ain't been my ceiling any more than the shoe. I ain't shattering no glass ceiling. I'm coming through the skylight. Glass ceiling wasn't meant for me no way. Lest it was something else for me to climb my crystal stair to clean. Every time I imagine George Floyd's last breath, or Michael Brown laying in the street, or Breonna Taylor cuddled with her boyfriend, thinking what they'll have for breakfast, my pressure goes up. Where is the air to respond? But that's just me. I'm an elder child. Save your strength. Because we in this for the long haul. Gotta have a sense of humor. Anyway, to exercise our humanity, which is to live and to give. You know, in defiance of people who want to take our lives. We live in defiance of people who want to deny the fullness of our humanity. We show compassion in our abundant gifts to the rest of the world. Because, you know, Korea can't live without our rhythm. And Shostakovich can't be played without our bent notes. The U.S. Army couldn't survive without Dr. Drew's plasma, and the South wouldn't have made it without the peanut. Like Henrietta Lax's cancer cells, we still living and giving. Plenty of stuff been took now. But our holy grail, our magic, can't nobody touch that. It moves too fast. And we got so much, we give it away. Give of ourselves freely, over and over and over, to exhaustion, yes, but also to joy. Like Mars Blues makes you happy, or when James Reese Europe and the Hellfighters played La Marseillaise in France, we brought the spirit. The joie de vivre we possess and change the tide of the war. That's what we do. Change it up. Lift the spirit. When Winston Churchill had to rally England to fight the Reichstag, he gonna quote Claude McKay, "If we must die, we know how to die. But more importantly, we know how to live. When somebody wants to take your life, we show how to resist that with grace. How to run a railroad underground. How to be active by sitting in. Forbidden to read or write, we sing in code. Wade in the water, child, and read the stars. We survive by being our excellent selves, showing the rest of humanity what that is. So, when the weight of the world is on our back, breathe with your heart toward the horizon. When your head is bowed and you are on your knees, know that your crown holds up the sky. Wherever you are, by whatever means at your disposal, don't let nobody turn you around, cause ain't no stopping us. See yourself as the future. What's your plan for the next 4 months?